So, anybody here? Uh, yeah, welcome to the last day of the. I cannot even say anymore. I'm kinda done, by the way. So yeah, happy Halloween. This stream's gonna be boring, Katsu. Sorry. I I speak Portuguese too, by the way. Oh, funny thing. I
3 years ago, I embarked on a maiden voyage, an adventure to find and play Steam games that had met their fate and were no longer played by a single soul. At the time, it was a relatively unventured journey. Well, with the popularity of that voyage, many others set out on their own journeys of dead game discovery, even channels appearing dedicated to the craft. Well, men, do you know what I, Giuseppe, am going to do? Well, I'm just gonna do it again, aren't I? So back to SteamCharts.com I went, hundreds of games flying past as I hit the golden games, the 0 current players. Okay. And with that, I dived in. So just like last time, we have 5 categories: miscellaneous/sandbox, puzzle, action/shooter, platformer/adventure, and of course, horror. So I rounded up the 16 unplayed games and sorted them into their respective categories. So with the games organised, I set sail and set off on my voyage. I have moved house, not just moved in general. And as you can see, these walls are extremely bare. If only I had a vibrant, high-quality metal poster to fill these walls with. Well, today's video sponsor, Displate, has just the thing. Choose from over 2 million different detailed Displate designs, and Displate even has official licensed art from such IPs as SpongeBob, Star Wars, Black Mirror, Overwatch, The Funny Rage Game, and way more. It's as simple as picking the Displate design you want, it arrives in 4 to 5 days, you wipe the wall, apply the protective leaf, stick on your magnet, and you're ready. Then you can snap any Displate onto the wall and easily swap them with others to enhance any room. No tools or skills needed. A little bit like being a YouTuber. Plus, you don't have to deal with pesky landlords moaning about holes in the wall. There's also the new Textra Displates with fancy gloss and matte prints that pop off the display to make your displays even more eye-catching. And lucky for you folks, if you use the link in the description, you can get an exclusive discount offer as seen on screen now. So first off, miscellaneous/sandbox, a category of games that are a bit strange or creative, out of the box, games that don't necessarily always fit into a certain space. And what game is more about trying to fit into a space than car parking real driving sim? So as I booted up what could have been the greatest simulator game of the year, I was blasted with maybe the loudest music I've ever heard from a video game. There is no music settings. And if that wasn't bad enough, it was the freakiest music known to man. So after manually lowering the game volume in Volume Mixer and wiping blood from my ears, I was presented with this dinky Fiat 500. So, using the $1,000 at my disposal, of course, I needed to Giuseppify the car in the Giuseppe blue paint. Well, as much as I could afford at least. The wing mirrors still remained red, and I had a poo brown underlighting. But hey, my name was on the number plate, so if I didn't already look like a knob, I did now. Loading into the city streets, I set off on my car parking journey, slowly turning around the corner, where I almost immediately hit a police car. To my luck, thankfully, he let me off. So as a free man, I turned another corner and hit another police car. Officer, listen, oh, never mind. Thankfully, none of the cars in the game had any drivers, so I think I may be safe. Who knows, maybe they're all high-tech AI self-driving cars. Well, either that or the dev couldn't be asked to add them to the game. In fact, this level of detail spans across the game. I mean, just look at this storefront. Well, whilst my car may have made an impact, the game certainly hadn't. This is shit. All I'd gotten so far was a reckless driving charge and a mechanics bill. I mean, I'd signed up for high-octane car parking gameplay. Well, like an answer to my call. I didn't find the car parking, but I did find this. A speed camera challenge, 140 kilometers per hour. I knew what I needed to do. I pushed my foot on the accelerator, revved the engine until it purred, and shot forward with absolutely zero force. I got 96 kilometers per hour, and I was forced to look at the broken English of lose jobs. Pathetic. But I wasn't going to stand for it. I wasn't going to take lose jobs as an answer. So I drove around the entire city, picking up speed as I went, as I hurtled toward the speed camera and hit 95. Yeah, it seemed my measly Fiat 500 just didn't have the horsepower, sadly. But it's all okay, because in the shame of my slow car, I realised there were multiple camera angles on the game. This first person one, an action cam, and this one that I can only describe as a helicopter view, similar to those live police chases that streamers watch sometimes.
Live chase! Oh my god, boys! This is like unboxing, like, something can happen, something cannot happen. Of course, unboxing the gold would be the police catches him, nobody gets injured, the car slows down, just stops at the roundabout, hands go up, hands up, boom. Done.
There was also 3 different driving modes. Simulator, which was what I'd been playing on for the entire run, I assume. Drift mode, that you turn on if you want your car to handle like a car in GTA 5 when you've lost all your tyres, just sliding all around the streets, and the drifting gave you cash that added to your total. And arcade mode, that was actually quite fun. Anyway, finally, I found the car parking. I drove up, brimming with excitement, and, well, I just parked, didn't I? It wasn't very difficult, I just pressed W. But I did get $2,000 for it. And may I just add, besides customizing your Fiat 500, there is no other cars in the game. Build your vehicle of your dreams in this parking game full of realistic details and challenging missions. How can I build the vehicle of my dreams when there is only one vehicle? Unless I was an 18-year-old girl, a Fiat 500 is not my dream car. Well, for a game that claims to be a car parking sim, there is not a lot of car parking. The driving and drifting can be pretty fun, and they were solidly made. And sure, the 3 driving modes and different cameras were cool, but there is literally only one car. Oh, and if your car runs out of fuel, you can't move. Yep, the game becomes completely unplayable. You have to walk. Oh wait, no you can't, because you don't exist. and neither does anybody else. And I am by no means a car expert, but with this game being called Real Driving Sim, something tells me that realistically, this car wouldn't be able to drive. Although, the game does allow me to get a glimpse into the world of car parking. Parking in real life isn't my strong suit. Parallel parking, yep, that's taking me 20 minutes, to the point that I just use the auto park feature. A single car parking space in a busy car park, no chance. I'm looking for 2 spaces. Parking really is not my thing. I used to have driving lessons, and I'd sweat through my shirt so much, I'd just get home and throw them in the bin. I've been driving for 7 years now, and I have never been on the motorway. I literally just drive around my home city. Anyway, fun drifting, Fiat 500, lose jobs, no gas, no game. 4 out of 10. Now the definition of miscellaneous is a mixture and lack of order, or in other words, weird as shit. And this next game may be the single weirdest game I have ever played. Let me introduce you to Pull Stay. Straight in, even the menu screen alone was bizarre. An Asian man spinning in a washing machine with bubbles in front of a PNG of a city. Well, the first level of the game was no more sane. You played a metallic version of said Asian man on a lift, fighting these Amazon box men with all kinds of different attacks until eggs and diamonds flew out of them as some sort of reward. Yep, your guess is as good as mine. Well, after sitting on this chair and being shot up a lift shaft, we're placed into a house of sorts, where the human version of our character warns us that they are coming and we need to protect him in his room upstairs. So in short, you play as the robo version of this man here, and the premise of the game is that enemies approach the middle room of the house from the left and right entrances, and it's our job to protect this man in his anime-obsessed room upstairs as he sits and plays Osu or Genshin probably. So, as the suited businessmen approached, I pulled out my best combat moves, and as the game progressed, you learn new moves to defend the house, as well as the introduction of traps. The first trap I was introduced to was this anime waifu pillow. Strange. I wasn't entirely sure how a body pillow classified as a trap.
This is the best girl. I love Rem. She's now my wife.
But I hesitantly placed it down on the bed and waited for my prey. I led the intruders through into the bedroom, and right before my eyes, the men would be drawn to the body pillow, spoon it on the bed, then get engulfed by it. What was I playing? But I couldn't stop. Wave after waves of enemies coming in droves as I fought back with all my might, pile driving men into the ground, defending my sun-deprived pal. The more I played the game, it just got progressively weirder. This boxing glove trap that flung you into first person and allowed you to decimate anybody in your path. And arguably, the strangest part of the game were the stages between the waves, where you walk down what appeared to be a school corridor while trying to dodge old Japanese men dressed as schoolgirls. Well, as the waves increased, I eventually succumbed to the sheer number of invaders, and the man's room was compromised, in which the single weirdest animation played. Overall, as weird as the game was, I actually found myself enjoying it. Oh! Combo? It was certainly well made. The graphics were nice. I sort of got lost in the whole experience. Sure, the combat was nothing special, and maybe it could have even been improved, but the intensity of keeping the bedroom safe was actually pretty entertaining at points. I find myself wanting to play this game again. There was even the ability to add extra rooms to extend the house to save yourself a little bit of time. Pull Stay was like Balloon's tower defense if the balloons were house invaders and the monkey was a robotic version of an anime-obsessed terminally online Asian man. Very strange, Japanese, body pillow, like Balloon's tower defense but not really. Good fun. 7 out of 10. Blocky Snake. Now I'm going to break it to you guys. You don't have to be a genius to work out what this game consists of. It's pretty much that little snake game that you used to play on your old Nokia. Oh, sorry. I forgot you guys maybe aren't that old. It's a bit like Slither.io or... Listen, just type Snake into Roblox and I'm sure you'll find it. So yeah, it's a 3D version of the classic Snake game in 3D, in 3 dimensions, in 3D. You go around collecting these little cube-shaped apples and pears as your snake gets longer with each one collected. Alright guys, let's go. Let's see how long my snake can get. Wait, the game worked off a level system. Now you would think that this would be quite easy. And sure, I made it through the first level where it was just my snake on the map, but let's just say, as the levels moved on and more snakes appeared, I may have slightly struggled. Oh no. Oh. Certainly look... Oh, look at that. Oh, okay. How the f have I just died there? Are you kidding me? Oh, you knob! And don't even get me started on the hard mode. What's hard mode like? Let's see how hard it is. Well, you know what? As far as a 3D Snake game goes, it was quite nice. It was well made. Does what it says on the tin.
Whoa!
Nice bright colours, it got the job done. Only thing I would say is the camera moving as you did got a little bit jarring, and there was no way to fix it. And yeah, it's just 3D Snake. Sure, it's basic, but there was plenty of levels to unlock. It'd burn 20, 40 minutes here and there, and it certainly would work great as one of those switch your brain off kind of games whilst you're in a Discord call with friends or listening to a podcast. I mean, I don't see it dethroning Balatro anytime soon, but you never know. Basic Snake 3D, motion sickness camera movements, and no setting to change it. Despite being easy, I got quite into it. Hard mode, good AFK chill game. 6 out of 10. Well, we go from a snake, one animal, to another animal in this next game, cats, which are an animal, and are vastly popular across the internet. Did you know that funny cat videos actually statistically take up 80% of all web space? You can find a cat doing anything online, but have you ever heard of Cat's War? Taking the cake for the most basic menu so far, no settings menu. Always a great sign. Well, you play as this cat that is Ginger. And after digesting the huge amount of motion blur that couldn't be changed, I hopped into this cardboard box on wheels, car thing, and started to patrol the streets. Now sure, whilst this was a unique experience, I wasn't entirely sure what the Cat's War was all about. I mean, it seemed like quite a nice neighbourhood to me. There was other cats of various colours walking around the streets, but they just minded their own business, starting no real problem. Well, all of my questions were answered when I rolled up to the 24/7 convenience gas station. I hopped out, I was almost there, and instantly, death. As the happiest music you have ever heard played. Okay, I see now. I see what this war being waged is. These ducks think it's okay to just assault me in broad daylight. I get that I'm Ginger, but that's no excuse. Well, this run, I was going back with a vengeance. I spawned in, drove down the block, and ran through these collectible magazines on the ground. I mean, if I was going to take on the army of ducks, I would need ammunition. So with magazines collected, I spun around and very quickly realised I had made a massive mistake. Suddenly, I was training a horde of identical ducks, and in a panic, I'd scrolled up and equipped a baseball bat. But I'd have no chance against this many ducks, and as the happy music kicked in, I made a run for it, thankfully losing the horde. And right there, in my eye line, was the dreaded gas station, and you bet I was going back for revenge. So with baseball bat in hand, I approached a lone duck standing outside, and I started my attack, swinging over and over, and it was going great, until more of the duck thugs approached. I got ganged up on, tried to run, got stuck on a pole, and death. The happy music taunting me once more. Now I know what you're asking. If I just picked up magazines off the ground, why was I using a baseball bat? Well, that is a valid question. In short, I had no idea how to find or use a gun. So on my next run, I looked everywhere. I scoured the streets, houses, backyards, trying to find a gun of some sort. And I may have mowed down a few ducks in the process. But the more and more I looked, I drew a blank. No guns anywhere. And in a fit of rage against the ducks, I sort of spammed every button on my keyboard and mouse, and then a gun just appeared in my hand. Yep, while earlier I'd scrolled up to get a baseball bat, all I had to do was scroll up once more, and boom, I had a submachine gun. And let me tell you, boy, did this turn the tables. In minutes, I was mowing down every duck in sight, bullets flying everywhere. I was the one winning the war now, baby. Now, the actual main aim of the game was to collect these 10 flowers. So in between the bloodshed, I started to gather them, and I collected literally every single flower I could find, and I still didn't hit 10. So I guess we'll never know what that actually does. And with this, I turned my sights back on the gas station, where I killed every... I returned to the gas station, where I killed... I returned to the gas station where I killed every duck I could see until I ran out of ammo and died. Overall, whilst not a war of epic proportions, or even a high action one, the game still kept me entertained. What a game. What a game. Being able to play as a cat, riding in a cardboard box with wheels and wielding a baseball bat and a submachine gun was certainly a new experience. And I guess the game did what it set out to achieve, because it didn't take long for me to resent every duck that I saw. And I love ducks. They're my favourite animal. I mean, just look how cute they are. Well, when they aren't beating you to a pulp outside a gas station. The game had basically zero sound design with no ambient audio or footsteps, the guns needed some work, and the flowers were so hard to find I had no clue what they led to. But I guess it didn't break. I mean, I assume it ran as intended. I did get stuck on a few things, and the hand-to-hand combat was basically non-existent and resulted in my face being illuminated red by the death screen, accompanied by that music. Oh, and the cardboard box car did seem to have a mind of its own. Sure, the game was a little bit repetitive after a while, but running over a group of ducks as a cat in a cardboard box car as the happiest royalty-free music you've ever heard plays in the background is truly an experience. Oh! Play as a cat, kill ducks, couldn't find flowers, weirdly enjoyable, death, 5 out of 10. Well, as a recovering veteran from the Great Cat War of 2025, I needed a rest. I needed to relax, sit back and recover. And what is better than a puzzle? So introducing the first puzzle game on the list, Hamster on Rails. An intriguing title, to say the least. The menu screen was packed to the brim with excitement, filled with this colony of cute little hamsters living out of tree houses, I guess. Well, upon clicking departure, the camera pans in to what appears to be the king hamster. He explains that we are his greatest explorer, and we need to search for a new source of ore for the king. You then speak to this hamster in a hard hat, and I will admit this bit went on for a bit, so I may have skipped it. And with that, we hop into a minecart and head through a portal. So, the way the game worked was you were presented with these isometric levels. You start at one end, and the goal is to make it to the exit, with the option of collecting various items. Very simple. And of course, the way you make it to said exit is by placing these different rail pieces along the ground to guide your hamster on rails. Haha, well, like most puzzle games, the first level